The French tax representative is mandatory for any non-EU tax resident selling a French property. The sale won't be able to be signed without a tax rep to be appointed. Why is that? Who is he? What does he do? And why do you have to work with one? Hello guys, and welcome to the French Tax Online channel. I'm very happy to be here with you today to discuss about a very unknown topic, the French tax representative. Who is he? What does he do, and why do you have to work with one? We are going to answer all these questions, but in the meantime, don't forget that we are one of the 9 only fully accredited tax reps in France. Let's go, guys! The French tax representative is mandatory for any non-EU tax resident selling a French property. We are existing to calculate and take the full liability for the capital gain tax. Why is that? It's because it's much easier for the French tax office to ask us to pay penalties and fees than people living in the UK, the US, China, or wherever in the world. Any non-EU tax residents selling a French property above 150,000 euros must appoint a tax rep. It is the same for non-EEE tax resident companies selling a French property without any threshold. Yes, but only non-EU companies. EEE companies do not have to appoint one, but they can appoint a mandataire fiscal, which is pretty much the same without the liability side. We are only 9 companies fully accredited by the French tax office as représentants fiscaux immobiliers in France. But on the other hand, you can ask someone you know who lives in France to be your tax rep. In this case, you would have to ask the tax office the authorization to do so. It might be refused for many different reasons. Usually the notary is managing the tax rep part, so it's unlikely that there is a delay, but sometimes everyone forgets about it. But in any case, the sale won't be able to be signed without a tax rep to be appointed because the designation is mandatory by law. The tax rep is actually the only one calculating the capital gain tax, and then he would give the tax form directly to the notary. Of course, in the meantime, he would ask you some questions and documents, as well as he will be able to ask some things to the notary directly. The tax rep will need, of course, the notary deed of purchase when you bought the property. He will need the promesse de vente or the compromis de vente, which is a pre-sale contract. He would need most probably your IDs. You would need your social security documents if you are from the Switzerland or the UK. And then we would need a lot of more documents depending on the situation. If there is a company, we would need the company documents, etc., etc. Of course, it does depend on the complexity of the situation. This is a very simple situation, then we can make everything ready within 24 hours. And then if it's very complicated with tons of work, etc., etc., then you can take up to 1 month. It really depends. I would say from 24 hours to 3-4 weeks, depending on the situation. No, the tax rep would only give the tax document and the amount of taxes to be paid to the notary, but the notary would pay the taxes directly to the tax office. We would not do that. In our case, we would manage the whole capital gain tax part, which means that we would do everything and we would only give the notary the final document stamped and signed by ourselves. We would try not to ask anything to anyone else so that the notary can concentrate on all the rest, and we would try not to bother anyone else. This is a tricky one, of course. I would say that the difference between a good and a bad one is about communication and how long in advance you, as a client, you will know how much you're going to pay. And if you have questions about the amount of the taxes, how long you have to wait and whether you get a reply or not. Again, in our case, I'm not saying that we are perfect, but we would do our very best to give you this information as soon as possible so that there is no bad surprise when it comes to selling the property finally. Our fees are the exact same as everyone else on the market. Tax rep usually charge from 0.35 to 1% of the sale price. Again, depends on the situation, whether it's complicated or it's risky or not. Don't forget that in any case, we have to pay for a financial guarantee and a professional insurance, which makes us forced to pay fees for every sale we take care of, which is why our fees are so high. We usually don't, because we are not tax lawyers, and these are tasks for tax lawyers. So if we can help answer questions, of course we would do it, but we would never do it officially, right? So if there is something you want to do which would be official, then we would be very happy to recommend you to a tax lawyer who is specialized in this field. Of course, as you know, because I told you many times, we are the latest tax rep accredited by the French tax office. It was in September 2024, but before this, we've been doing this for 2 years. Yes, we would be very happy to work with you on the sale of your property. As you can see, we do speak English. Everyone in the team does speak English. We would talk with you, we would answer all of your questions, and you would know 100% of the time how much you're going to pay long before you actually sell the property. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you liked it, even though it's not a very nice topic. Again, we are tax rep. We would be very happy to work with you on this. So if you have questions, if you plan to sell your French property, don't hesitate. Just ask us how much you would pay. It's free of charge. We'll be very happy to reply. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us. Thank you very much, and see you soon.